we do right now. As far as some of the things going on for the students, AP exams, although they are modified in their format and their length, etc., will be distributed by the College Board to the students via virtual format. And I think this is probably a great year to take the AP exam, because something makes me think that this exam might just be a little bit more manageable than some of them have been in the past. And I highly encourage the students to prepare and take them very seriously, because this is probably a good year to get a decent score if I were a betting woman. I'd also like to remind you that if you're not already following us on Facebook, I am updating the Facebook page regularly with great things, all the fun things everybody wants to see, some of the work from our students, the videos that our faculty members and staff members have prepared to let the students know just how much they miss them, and sending well wishes and things like that. And I can't express enough gratitude to my administrative team and the teachers and my entire network of professionals that we work with, because it's incredible how much work goes into keeping a school district afloat when it's closed. And I know that teachers are working harder probably than they've ever worked before, and the kids, everybody is adapting. And I think that, you know, adaptability is certainly a 21st century skill that helps us to be successful, because things change so quickly and so rapidly that if you're not adaptable, you know, you could flounder. And so I'm so grateful that everybody has adapted well and is working really, really hard. I'll give a full report on Wednesday, but I just wanted to share that with you. So thanks.
Thank you. Business Administrator's report, please, Mr. Crotty.
Sure, thank you, Mr. Quinn. We don't have too much tonight. I'm going to leave most of the items for Ms. Roloff during her committee report. But one item I'd like to stress, if you could pass the word around, is we keep informing the residents, the parents, about our free and reduced meal distribution. At the high school, it's every day, Monday through Friday. And right now we only have Franklin is the other day. You know, try to get the other end of town for on Mondays and Wednesdays. You can pick up multiple meals, but you know, we can't announce who's free and reduced students, but the meals are free to a little over 300 students that we have. And right now we're getting roughly about 80 students participating. So if you could spread the word, that'd be great. And that concludes my items.
And Ray, if I could just add to that, registration for free and reduced meal program is still open. I've sent that link out in every letter I've sent to families, and I've posted it on the Facebook page and on the website as well. So if parents find themselves in need and haven't applied in the past, they could apply now and see if they qualify. So it's always open.
Through the chair, if I may.
Yes.
Is there any identification checks or anything, or can anyone just off the street come up and get lunch?
No, the food service department, you know, is doing a check there. They have a student roster list, and it's those that qualify.
But they're checking to make sure it's a qualified student. That's
Yes.
really my question. Okay.
Well, if you come up and give us your name, and your name is on our list. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, because there's checks and balances. The state, you know, will pop in, you know, to check on this food distribution. So, yeah, everything has to be in order.
Okay. Also, Mr. Crotty, was there any change in the number of people getting the free and reduced lunches or picking up lunches through the break?
No, numbers were kind of the same. We didn't see an uptick or anything. Some days might have been a little less, but there was really no difference with the week.
Okay, just curious. Thank you.
But we did wait through the spring break to see if we would pick up any takers at Smith, and we didn't. So as a result, after that, then we just closed the Smith location.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
we were trying to hit all areas of the town. So we got Franklin High School and Smith, but we like Ms. Shanley said, we had a couple days and there was no pickup at Smith, so we closed that site down. And we're now working on Franklin, which is getting a few students, not a lot, but we'll keep that open for now.
Great, thank you. Before we move to the board action items, I just want to make sure everybody saw the email that was sent out today. And we're going to try a slight change in the way we're doing the agenda items and committee reports. We will be doing the committee report at the beginning of the agenda item for that committee. So say for policy, Mari would start with the committee report and then go into the policy on the agenda, trying to make things a little bit more efficient and keep everything regarding one subject matter together. We'll see how that works. Moving to board action items. Does anybody have any questions, comments, or thoughts regarding B77 through B79?
Just give me a second.
Seeing none? You good, Sylvia?
I'm good, thanks.
It's weird. I can actually see you better now than when we were in the theater. I like it. I can see if somebody's looking at something. Next, we'll move to Regina and education and curriculum. Okay, so education and curriculum, E76, 1 through 6, and E77. Does anybody have any questions, thoughts, comments on any of that? Seeing none, we'll move to finance, budget, and facilities. Michelle, I believe you have a committee report. You have to unmute yourself, Michelle. Michelle?
I'm sorry. All right.
There we go.
Okay. I lost the screen completely. Agenda items F266 through F269. Are there any questions? And then I'm to read this?
Well, or you could summarize it.
Okay.
But doesn't it start at F262?
It does.
262. Oh, the other ones are added on, right?
Yeah, those are our routine.
Okay, so I'll just summarize this. On budget, county approved the 2021 budget public hearing and adoption on May 4th. In facilities, the trees along the high school parking lot were trimmed back. The fencing around the track is being replaced. Most of the poles will be reused. Food services, distributing meals at middle school, high school each day, Monday through Friday. Franklin on Monday and Wednesday. Ray is working on documents with the state for food service management company. Proposals will be received in May, and a recommendation will be brought before the board at the June meeting. Papa John's in Saddlebrook is donating pizzas once a week for the cafeteria to distribute. Then agenda items F266. Based on a current and future cost, as well as the state's calculations for meals prices, Pomptonian and Ray recommend an increase of the student paid meals from $3.20 to $3.30. There was also some increase to individual a la carte items. This is mainly due to the minimum wage increases. F267, this is an addendum to the current contract due to the school closure that we will be discussing with the board attorney in closed session. F269, this approval will follow Champions to operate the summer and next year's before and after school program, of course, pending the school's reopening date. And thank God, that's it.
Thank you. Just one note, and Ray, please correct me if I'm wrong. The Papa John's Pizza Day, unfortunately, has come to an end because they were not getting enough business to stay in business at this time.
That was a couple weeks ago. We were supposed to get our first delivery, but I was informed by our food service manager that this past, well, actually last week, I think, believe they started. They had shut down for like a week or so, but they delivered pizzas last Monday. And I didn't check, but I think they did today.
Okay. Do we have any idea of the consistency at this time?
No, but I'll find out. I'll check on it and find out for Wednesday.
Thank you.
Through the chair.
Yes.
I know that the increase in the lunches is basically due because of the cost and the increase in the minimum wage. But is there any way that we can maybe revisit that, given the fact that a lot of people have lost their jobs or not working, even a dime here and there? If we can try to save it, I just think if we can revisit it, it might be something we might want to do.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with revisiting it in the June or in the summer.
Okay. That's one. And on the champions, did we approve them for another year?
That's what this is.
Oh, okay. I just thought it was for the summer, the way it's worded. Okay.
But yeah, it goes from July of this year to June of next year.
I see that. Okay. I got all my documents late. I'm trying to do this. 5 o'clock tonight, I got them.
It's been
I
a
know,
challenge
so
for
if-
everyone.
Really, if you have any questions too, you could ask tomorrow and Wednesday too. I know you got them. I know you got them late.
Any other questions concerning this section?
Yeah, just for Ray, how are we going to do the vouchers with the closure?
Yeah, well, right now we're putting them together and we'll have to figure out a way to get you guys in there to sign them, or we do them later. Let's see how up till May 15th goes.
Okay, so just stand by until I hear something from you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Okay, then we'll move to policy. Ms. Ianello.
All right, so the last time the policy committee met was on March 30th. And the board members that were present were myself, Mr. Laurentino, Mrs. Robinson, Mr. Quinn. The administrative staff was Mrs. Shanley and Mr. Karate. And what we reviewed were the bylaws, and some of the bylaws that we reviewed were to be approved for this coming meeting for the first reading. And they are board members resigning and removal, board committees, the Board of Education website, call, adjournment, and cancellation, notice of board meetings, quorum, conduct of board members, voting, and executive sessions. Most of the changes were minor, whether it was changing from pupil to student, minor wordings. Mr. Karate did an excellent job in reviewing the bylaws of other districts, so we were able to compare, along with Stress Esme. The only really big change that I want to point out, it would be the 145, which was pulled off at the last meeting, brought back to discuss again. So that one, there were some different changes. So in here, I would say the big change is that a board member can be asked to be removed within, let me see here, 72 hours. Prior, it was 3 days. There also, the major change was going from, if they're miss 4 meetings, including a caucus meeting that is scheduled, and our regular meetings, without cause. So it's not just if they didn't show up, they need to let the board president know and the board secretary know if they're not going to be in attendance and the reason why. So if they were to be asked to be removed, it would be for, no, let me see our wording here was without good cause. I apologize. I thought I had underlined it. But, oh, that's really the major change for that bylaw. Then, so that would be for our first reading. And then for our second reading, we have bylaws 143 through 154 that is on the agenda. Does anyone have any questions about the first reading or the second reading in the bylaws?
Through the chair, I have a question.
Sure.
The one where it states a 10 p.m. meeting end time.
0157.
Does that does that mean we're putting a time limit on the meetings?
To a certain extent, yes. Okay. It's just so that it doesn't run over for us to go on and on and on. Yes.
However, it is also stated in there if the majority of board members present, I believe is how it is stated, can vote to continue the meeting. It's trying to keep us focused and finish the business of the board within a reasonable amount of time.
Through the chair, if we have a parent come in on an appeal and spend over an hour and a half, and we still have an agenda to go through, so we're going to be held to an hour and a half to go through an entire agenda on a Monday night and then expect us to vote on stuff we didn't go through on Wednesday?
Well, it says it could be waived by the majority of the members present.
So this is basically just giving anybody who wants to leave within a 3-hour time frame the opportunity to. So, and I see it as trying to stifle us, honestly.
The intent is not to stifle the board or stop conversation. The intent is to keep us focused, and the reality that we should be able to finish our business in a 3-hour time period if we stay focused on the subject matter at hand. There may be occasions, well, yes, we will have to extend that time limit, but it's trying to keep us to get the work done in a reasonable amount of time. Is really what it's about.
So
with Ray's research, a lot of the different districts actually have a time limit on their board meetings, and we thought it was worth trying.
So if we have 4 in-depth issues on the agenda, that means there's 12 of us speaking, so we have 5 minutes or less for each issue?
Well, I don't think each issue takes sometimes more than 5 minutes. And let's think back, and I don't disagree with you, Sylvia. I see where you're coming from, but how often did we stay in closed session beyond 10 o'clock at night?
Times?
Sometimes, but I think too, like Mrs. Shanley said, if we all vote we need to stay here longer, then we stay longer. No one is saying that no, it's 10 o'clock, we got to go and leave. It's just more of a guideline to keep us concise when we're talking, that it's about business and not getting into the side conversations. You know what? We need to stay a little bit more focused. We have to go to work the next day. I really don't want to be there beyond 10 o'clock at night. If it need be, then yes. But if we could stay focused, then I think we should be able to do our business in 3 hours. I agree. When we have hearings, that those particular times we may be there longer. But how often do we have hearings?
Well, in the policy, these things are not stated, so this is why I'm asking for clarification. So when the time comes, it doesn't matter. I'm voting no for this anyway. I'm telling you all now.
But do you have any more questions, or any other board members? This is the time to discuss it and hear what everybody thinks. And, this is what the committee has recommended. We're bringing it to the board for your thoughts and approval if you approve as a whole.
Yeah, I also feel like it takes time away from the public if there is an important topic, because like you said, yes, it does depend on the majority of a vote, I guess. So if we have something going on and 5 people say, oh, I want to end it, and then it ends. or does the 4 people that stay continue their meeting? How does that? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that our public sessions have never lasted that long. I mean, I don't know if anything precedes me, but generally, I think the times we stay the latest, we're in caucus or executive. I'm not sure, I could go back and look, but I don't think we've ever had a public session go past like 9 o'clock, 9:30. I mean, I could
No, and
certainly,
what
I could
happens with
certainly go back and check.
I can't think of a time we did go past 10 in an open meeting, nor can I see of a situation where the majority of the board would not continue that meeting if for any reason we were in a public meeting and went past 10 o'clock.
and the other one was it would close. What happens with renewals? Sometimes that takes a little bit longer. Like again, it would depend on the vote, I guess, right?
Yeah,
Right,
I mean, if we had a long line of people who wanted to speak, I can't imagine anybody would want to stop the public from speaking. I think this is more about like I think based on our
You
conversation.
know, that's what I'm saying. Our closed session with when we do renewals, sometimes that takes forever.
Mhm. But
So
that's once a year.
yeah.
I mean, you know, that's a May meeting, and if it's a lengthy meeting because we have to go through that you know. We have a start time for 7, right?
It says 8.
So shouldn't it be 7?
Yes, it should be. Thank you, Sylvia. I did not catch that.
Yeah, it should be 7.
Well, that's just the time. Our meeting started at 7, but that's the latest you could start a meeting.
Oh, the latest you can start a meeting. Got it.
Okay.
Okay. So generally we start at 7. Okay. So that really doesn't.
Right, I would recommend that you change the language though, Ray, because it does say the start time. It doesn't say the latest. If you look at the wording, it just says the start time is 8.
Okay.
All right, so you want me to change it to 7?
Well, I think they're saying it needs to say that our normal start time is 7 o'clock and no meeting will start past 8 p.m. or after 8 p.m. But I guess it's not clear that our normal meeting time is 7 p.m. from what I'm hearing.
So like if you're waiting for a quorum to arrive or something, you will not wait past 8.
Right. And most of the time with the curfew time, they call it, some districts had that, was, and I don't see a problem with our public meetings. I don't recall in the time I've been here where we went past, like Ms. Shelley said, past 9:30. We wouldn't just, the board wouldn't just end the meeting. Most of the time this is in closed session. You want to do all your board business agenda items first. It's for bringing up just, you know, other things or things in between that make us go later. Just keeps everybody on focus and on track to get done.
Any other questions concerning this or any other policy?
Yeah, can I say something real quick?
Of course.
I like the 161. I think the idea behind it when we did it was to keep the board focused while we're together doing our business. I would vote yes if we ever had to go past 10 o'clock to let the public speak up. I would never cut anybody off. I think more it's just that we're in a closed session to keep us focused on what we're doing rather than the sidebar conversations that keep us going longer than we need to. So that's just my input on this one.
Thank you.
I believe that when we discussed this, Mr. Laurentino, didn't we discuss, this was more for the caucus meetings, the idea, it was not to stifle the community whatsoever.
No.
Again, we really have never had that issue, so I understand where Mr. Arcamando was saying that, but that was not the intent. It was more for us to keep us regulated as the board, not the community.
In the closed sessions.
Right, so it was for the closed session. I mean, if this is something that we're not comfortable with, do we want to revisit it? How does the board feel?
I am very comfortable with it because you will have a committee and an agenda, okay?
Right.
So if there's questions that you need to ask a little more in detail, you can go to the chair so that you could see a little bit more and look into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would help us stay on track. because sometimes we do get sidebarred.
Okay. And as you think about this, please feel free to reach out to me or Kelly or Ray or Danielle and discuss your thoughts on it before Wednesday night's meeting as well, please.
Through the chair, just on Regina's point though, here we got a committee report and we're already almost going on 20 minutes on one thing.
And I agree with you, but nobody, like, I'm the chairperson, nobody called me, nobody emailed me, nobody asked me any questions about this.
I can tell you, and Ray can vouch for me, I got all these documents at 5 o'clock tonight. We had major problems getting me to get through to them. We finally figured out a way. So this is where my questions are coming from.
And,
Okay.
you know, unfortunately, we're in new times, and I apologize for those issues. But that's one out of everybody. I don't think myself or Ray heard any comments regarding this either. I had one board member discuss this item with me. That's why I'm saying, if now that you have it, you have time to think about it. If anything else comes up, please reach out to us.
I'm only
so we can
speaking
address
for
it by
myself.
Wednesday. I'm sorry, what was that, Sylvia?
I'm only speaking for myself. I don't know who reached out to you with what. I'm just speaking for myself.
Okay.
I believe they were also sent out in the policy committee report on Thursday. The policies, bylaws were all linked up there as well.
Correct.
Yeah, they were.
Through the chair, I have a question on one of the policies with just cause, the amount of meetings. So who determines what's acceptable and what is not? And what about HIPAA laws and things like that, where you can't reveal, maybe you had a medical issue, or, you know, it's something personal that you don't want to share with people because it's basically none of their business. So you may want to revisit how that is worded, because it doesn't sound just, I mean, I could be wrong, it doesn't really sound legal.
We did discuss this. Well, we could talk more about this in close, because I brought up the exact same thing, Regina. That's
Okay.
what is just cause? So we can talk about that more in close.
Okay. That's it for me. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay. I guess we're ready to move on. Am I correct, Kelly, that there is no negotiations report tonight?
That is correct. Sorry.
Thank you. So now we'll go to personnel, P464 through P491. Are there any questions, comments of anything we can actually discuss in open?
I just lost my agenda on my tablet, so I can't.
Okay. Well, we will be going through that in closed as well. So are there any liaison reports?
Well, real quick through the chair. I'm not going to comment on the personnel, but I can't seem to find my agenda. That's why I'm all baffled.
Want me to send it to you again, Mike?
Yeah, please. I can't.
Sure.
I
You
got
want the
policy.
22nd or tonight? Tonight's or the 22nd?
If you could, both.
Sure.
I know I got all the policy. I'm sorry, the committees. I got all those.
Let me send it to you.
But I can't seem to find those.
Okay, well, you should have them by the time we go into close for that section.
Perfect. No, thank you.
Any liaison reports? I'm guessing not. Okay. Is there any correspondence for this evening?
There's none.
Old business? New business? Okay, seeing none. May I have a motion to open the meeting for public comment?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we are open for public comment. Please put up your little hand wave signal if anybody would like to comment.
Could I just
I'm
say,
seeing
Mr.
none. Does
Accomando,
anybody
you
else?
could check your email and make sure that I just sent those to you again, Mr. Accomando.
Okay, I see no
Yes,
hands.
I got
Does
it.
anybody else see anyone that I
Yeah, we have
missed?
some hands.
I got it. Thank you.
We have
I'm
some
sorry.
hands.
Who?
Right, Mr. Karate? I see Thomas Van Winkle.
Hi, good evening to everybody on the Board of Ed. Hope everybody's doing well in these unprecedented times. I do have a question. I don't know if you guys can answer this yet. About like if school were to reopen after May 15th, would it be like full day of school? Like would it be half days or like what kind of protections like would like students and teachers have to take as far as like maybe masks, gloves, the social distancing? I was just curious if that's going to work.
My guess is that any of those decisions or guidelines would not come from me. We would be directed. I mean, at this point, we're working at, the governor's, under the governor's edict to remain closed. And should he choose to lift the closure, then with that lift would come some guidance. And we would do whatever we're told. So if the guidance was you need a half a day or you need gloves and masks and, if that's what he says, then that's what we do. I mean, at this point, we're just waiting for some direction from him. But my guess is that keeping the children and the faculty safe from the spread of coronavirus, I certainly hope that responsibility would not be placed on the individual school districts and that there would be some common direction that we would all follow to be safe.
Oh, okay. All right, that's all I have. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Okay, Tracy, you did have your hand
Yes,
up.
thank you so much. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Just a quick question regarding the district's policy on direct instruction under this kind of home learning that we're all new at, and I understand, but I'm getting that some teachers are doing direct instruction via Zoom, Google Classroom, and some aren't. Do you think students that are not getting that direct instruction from the teachers are suffering?
So it's my understanding, because the direction was that they are supposed to be providing recording and posting their lessons. And that way, if they record and post their lessons, then students and parents can watch them repeatedly to make sure that they understand them. And that live instruction poses a whole host of other problems if we were to, let's say, remain live for a full day. So what we're doing is we're having teachers post their lessons, and then we are requiring teachers to do at least once a week face-to-face time. And that doesn't have to be a lesson. That could be a check-in time. For the younger ones, it could be read aloud time. It could be a morning meeting time. For the older students, it could be Q&A. That doesn't mean that teachers aren't available for, to respond to emails throughout the day, et cetera.
No, I understand that. My concern is just like a brain pop video and taking the quiz after. Is that really beneficial for my child versus a video of the teacher explaining the content?
Well, because I don't know which classrooms and which teachers and which students you're talking about specifically, my suggestion would be
the same thing I was going to say.
If what your teacher is providing for your children is not working for you and your children, the first place to go is the teacher. And if that then doesn't change, the next place to go is the principal. So I can't really speak like in generalities because I don't know exactly, which class or which students you're talking about.
Right.
And I'm not the one checking the lesson plans and popping into classrooms the way the principals are. So I would just suggest, Tracy, that you go that way first.
Sure, but from what you're suggesting is that the teachers should be pre-recording lessons for the students to watch and then doing independent practice based on what the teacher has demonstrated.
Yes, but in some cases, that pre-recorded lesson may be a lesson from Khan Academy and not necessarily the teacher's face, but that's no different than the classroom.
Okay.
In a classroom, I may share something with the students that I want them to see that's not me personally.
Right.
So in the event what's happening is not working for your children, then we need to know, because unless you tell us, we don't know.
Okay, I was just wondering if there was an understanding that the teacher should be doing. I know this is all new to everyone, and I just wanted to know if there was a straight along policy on if they should be recording, if they should be having interactive meetings together. I know my children's teachers are doing check-ins and classroom Zoom meetings, but there's no real direct instruction via Google Classroom or anything like that. I didn't know if that should be happening. Thank you for the clarification.
I do think it's important for students to see their teachers' faces. I mean, they may not see their teachers' faces every single lesson. There may be, you know, a voiceover and I want to show you this video or click on here. There's nothing wrong with that occasionally, interwoven into your regular instruction. But you know, the teacher is supposed to be teaching. We asked all of the teachers if they needed technology, we would provide it to them. Some teachers took us up on that because they maybe their home computers didn't have a camera, for example. But it's my understanding that most teachers are doing some sort of recorded instruction of themselves, their voices. Some of them are using their voices and doing a screen capture. You know, those are a little bit more savvy on how to use those things. But I just encourage parents, if something isn't working for your children, to please let the teachers know. We have to give them the chance to help their students.
Sure. Okay. Thank you very much.
Sure. Now, Ray, can I ask you something? Because I see hands here in order. I'm assuming that's in order of when they were clicked.
No.
No? Okay.
I'll just call them out when I see them.
Okay.
So the next one I'm going to unmute is Alex L. Could you please state your name for the minutes?
Sure. Good evening. My name is Alex Louis. I live in 624 Fairlawn Parkway.
Thank you.
Yes. Hi. This is an education question. I'm not sure if the question is appropriate, but I'm just going to ask it anyway.
Okay.
We are all new to this coronavirus thing that's going on, and the teachers are doing a great job of putting up Google Classrooms up. Everything is perfect, but I do find myself. I work a full-time job, so I do find myself going back and forth, and not only teaching she's in first grade, so my child's in first grade. She goes to Long. I do find myself teaching my child how to use Google Classroom, and at the same time giving her homeschool instruction. Mm-hmm. So could you clarify what the 180 days means? Because there's going to be some days, and I'm going to be truthful with you, and I've been truthful with the teacher, is I'm going to miss some assignments. And it's not that I don't care. It's just that there's just, my wife and I work full time. Mm-hmm. And I can't just ping pong back and forth, because like you, I also have conference calls in the morning. So I really can't, she's too young to kind of go on the computer and say, oh yeah, I'm going to click on here and here. Mm-hmm. I'm old enough, because obviously I know technology, and my wife does as well. But her, it's more like I have to sit with her and I have to go through it. And sometimes, you know what, all the assignments are up there. I just cannot get to them all in 1 week. It's impossible.
I appreciate your concerns. I hear you completely. And this is a conversation I've had many times over. You know, our teachers are in that same boat too. And it's one of the reasons they're home with their kids doing exactly what you're doing, trying to work and trying to assist their youngest learners, especially like pre-K to 2, on hopping onto Google Classroom, which they never used before this, right? And trying to navigate, well, I'm working, how am I supposed to help my 7-year-old here? I can't do both. And some of us are fortunate enough that we can work from home. And that's one of the reasons why we're not conducting required live instruction. Because if a teacher can post something and you and your daughter can work on it, you know, in the afternoon at 4 o'clock, and that's better for you, then you have that time to do that. You have that flexibility to do that. The only thing that we ask that you do, let's say before the end of the school day, is to complete whatever the attendance requirement is, just so we know that you're present. That says to us, you and your daughter are present, and at some point during the day, you're going to get to this. I'm assuming, and the other thing is that, I don't know if everybody, you know, understands this, but from K to 2, the students didn't even have email accounts until this happened. Because they're small, and we're not throwing them on a computer. They're still learning through play and exploration and hands-on, and it's very kinesthetic, their learning experience. And they've been forced into this virtual world, which is completely and totally unnatural for children K to 2, even pre-K. So we understand what you're going through. I'm assuming if you've communicated with your teachers, they would also understand that maybe you need extra time to finish something, or maybe you can do more of your work on Wednesday because Monday and Tuesday you have conference calls or whatever. I just encourage you to communicate with your teacher about what your real situation is at home, but I'm sure that they will understand. If for some reason you're being met with resistance, you can reach out to the principal or copy the principal on your emails. I have not heard anyone complain about a parent who's working and needs extra time. The only complaints I've really heard from teachers are from parents and students who have just sort of gone, silent and not keeping in touch and not letting us know what the challenges are. We can overcome the challenges. We can be flexible. We can extend due date. We understand that, especially with our youngest learners. We know they need your help.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
My
And good
mind
luck
at
with
ease.
everything. Keep us posted.
Okay, next we'll go to, looks like Ms. Ween has her hand.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Just had a couple of instructional questions. Tracy kind of hit my first one. Just a suggestion, we have to at my school do live teaching at least once a week. We just have to record it and post it so people can go back and view it later. As a teacher, I've seen the benefit in starting to do that live instruction where my kids can ask questions when it's happening. It's just, I got into teaching to teach, not to just be an assignment giver. So it's definitely made a difference. We've actually started doing morning meetings to go over all the day's assignments too, and that's definitely been helpful. I have two questions. One is I guess elementary, high school, what is the recommended amount of time that these kids should be on screen time all day? And my other question is, what time, if you have mandated it, are assignments supposed to be posted by? Because sometimes the kids are in the middle of working in the day and they're almost done, and then poof, another assignment pops up. They're not being standardly posted by a specific cutoff time. And I really kind of feel like that would be beneficial for the kids that start first thing in the morning.
Okay. So
and those are not teacher specific, but district things.
So the posting time, I have not given them a specific posting time. I assumed, and probably shouldn't, that since the attendance needed to be up first thing in the morning, that they would have had their assignments for the students posted, in the morning. I can certainly address that with them. The other thing is that under no circumstances are the teachers to be recording anything that has students in it.
Even if it's just a screencast and it's not showing the children?
Oh, you said your students can ask and answer.
Yeah, they type them because they're muted.
So it's a lesson. It's not the interaction between you and your students you're recording.
No, I'm recording the lesson that I'm teaching live so that they can go back and view it later, but they can type questions in while it's being done.
Okay, so can the other students see the questions?
It's a chat.
Yeah, so no, we wouldn't record that because our students are involved in that. You could record the lesson and they could ask questions at another time.
In Google Meet, they can post it without the chat. Just so you're aware, the chat comes up as a separate file when it gets emailed to the teacher.
Okay, so the teachers are expected to meet with their students at least once a week in a live environment, and kids can ask whatever questions they want. They can make it instructional if they want. They just can't record it.
Okay, well, that's definitely not happening across the board. So what about the other thing about how much time it should be taking them to work? Because between my kids, which I understand why one's longer, she's got several honors classes, but I'm reading all over the place, kindergartners taking 6-7 hours, and it's kind of baffles me that you would want kids in front of screens that long.
I wouldn't want just kindergartner in front of the screen for 6 or 7 hours. That's silly. What we have established, and if you look in the last few pages of our emergency plan, is a sample single session day for receiving instruction from the teachers, and then obviously students will have to do some follow-up work that's independent. And depending upon the student, the courses, the age, etc. I mean, I don't know how much time kids are actually spending in front of the computer unless they tell me. So unless you tell your teacher, are you aware that, you know, this is what my day looks like, they don't know either, especially at the middle and high school.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you've got 7 teachers giving assignments, they may not be aware, and I don't think it's their fault. They may not be aware how long it's taking the student to get through a day.
Yeah, my high school,
Unless we tell them.
my 11th grader, there's many, almost every day is taking 10 plus hours a day of work.
Mhm.
I mean, again, she has 3 honors classes, so I do understand the need for it to be a little bit longer, but that's a long amount of time for her to be staring at a computer screen all day.
It certainly is. So I would reach out. I mean, do the teachers know that you're concerned about the length of time?
She has expressed to a couple, so she has some special circumstances, but that's besides the fact.
Okay, well, it's certainly more than appropriate for you to reach out to the teachers and say, you know, are you aware of how long it's taking? Because they may just not be aware. They may think that the kids can do it in 30 minutes, and it's not happening in 30 minutes. So unless you give them the opportunity, but I think that's a good communication for a parent to have, to say, hey, look, you know, you have a lot of high performing students who are in honors classes and AP classes. This work shouldn't be a death sentence.
Yeah.
But they do not know, and we have to give them the opportunity to make, you know, to modify the work.
Okay. And you didn't answer oh no, you did, about the posting time. You did address that. Okay.
I will address that. I have a leadership meeting tomorrow morning, honest to goodness, that has not come up, but we'll talk about it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next we have Ms. Baginski.
Hi, I'm Arlene Baginski, 568 Fairlawn Parkway.
Hi.
Hi. I was just wondering, my daughter is a senior, and I was kind of hoping I could, yeah, I know, that's exactly what I get from everybody. Have you guys put any thought into, if we don't go back, what the alternatives are for the seniors to still get to walk for graduation, or possibly prom over the summer, something, anything? Because I got to tell you, these kids, they don't even want to get out of bed. They're so depressed. It's bad.
My heart just breaks for them. So the leadership team and we had a long conversation last week about this, about, you know, plan A is the original plan and what plan B might be. So tonight I'll be speaking to the board about our proposals. And before I share anything with the faculty or with the students and the families, I want to at least make sure that the board is supportive of you know, our suggestions. So we want to hold on to, you know, be able to preserve absolutely everything we can. And I have hesitated to cancel anything because I, you know, the governor is, you know, giving us a little bit of hope by not calling the school year already. So I think, you know, we have to wait to see what he says. And then we'll have plan A will be the original plan, and plan B will be, you know, an alternative, but I need to run it by the board first.
Okay, thank you. The other thing
I will share it. Once we have a plan, and, you know, an alternate plan agreed to, and the support of the board, then I will share it with everyone.
Okay. The other thing I thought, just maybe the email that you had sent out last week was fantastic and everything, just to kind of keep them, you know, grounded, because a lot of these kids, the seniors, they don't really have to be in class. They don't. My daughter, I think, actually speaks to a teacher maybe once, I don't know, maybe once a week, and that's only for her AP class. But to try to keep them engaged, the seniors especially, because they have totally just zoned out. They've given up. And anything to keep them engaged, to keep them feeling like they're still part of something, because this is devastating for them.
It certainly is. It certainly is.
Okay, thank you.
But they should know, none of us for one moment have forgotten them. We are all thinking about how to make, you know, the end of this year special for them somehow, some way.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't see any more hands up.
Okay.
Can I give a shout out?
Sure.
I see Mr. Barberi in our midst, and I just want to thank all of the first responders and healthcare professionals out there fighting the good fight, and he's one of ours, so thank you. And Stay safe, okay?
Thank you. On that, may I have a motion to close the meeting to the for public comment?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, at this point,
Mr. Quinn, before you get to that, could I just say two things?
sure.
So one item, we still have our custodial maintenance staff. They're still working on a reduced schedule, but I just want to thank them for keeping our buildings clean, the few deliveries we're getting. We have some staff members will pop in to do mail, so they're just keeping everything clean. I just want to thank them for that. And I was informed during the meeting now that yes, Papa John's is delivering on Mondays, 20 pizzas.
Excellent. I'm glad they could work that out.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Thank
we still have our technology staff who is distributing technology to the students. I see Miss Mack in there, who I know keeps going in and checking on the mail and working on senior scholarships. And we just have a lot of people. Like I said, it's amazing what it takes to maintain a business that's closed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Yeah, through the chair now, since Ray brought up an additional comment regarding the custodians, can we discuss possibly revising some type of schedule, maybe to give them some time off? Do we have to discuss that here, or can we discuss it in closed? Can we discuss it? That's the bottom line.
We have that one of our items in closed. Our board attorney has some information for us, so we're going to pick it up from there.
Great, thanks.
Okay, let's try this one more time. Now we'll recess to close executive session to conduct a disciplinary hearing for NJSA 10-4-6, Open Public Meetings Act. The subject matter discussed may be disclosed to the public if and when the need for
Wait, Steve,
confidentiality.
time out. Steve,
Steve,
time
we
out.
don't have a disciplinary hearing.
I'm sorry, that's the wrong day. Let me go to the other one. I apologize. I'm on
That's all right.
I brought up two of the same. Hey, do you want to read that for me?
Sure.
You want me to?
Go ahead, Ray.
To recess to close executive session to discuss personnel, student matters, and matters covered by the attorney-client privilege per NJSA 10-4-6, Open Public Meeting Act. Subject matter discussed may be disclosed to the public if and when for confidentiality no longer exists. Action will not be taken when the board reconvenes in open session. Actually, we're not going to open this forum back up. We're just going to end it here and go into closed and then close in that session. So there'll be no further actions or video as soon as we adjourn the meeting.
Thank you. May I have a motion to adjourn the closed session?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we will reconvene in closed session. There is a second sign-in for that, and let's plan on everybody getting a 3-minute break in between.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Okay.
Thank you all.
See you in
Bye.
3. Bye.
Stay well, stay safe.